Welcome back, termites. It's night 37. Got to play a little golf today. Got a little hot in a great way. So I thought I would get out the Deep Eddy Sweet Tea Vodka. From where? Austin, Texas. Mainly purchased this for when Lewis comes because he's a big well, he doesn't like sweet tea, but he likes iced tea, but he won't know because I won't show him the bottle. And then you put a little regular tea in there. You have cut the vodka thing. It's perfect. It's a wonderful summer drink. We're getting back to Tanya here. She, the girls in the bathroom in high school made her sing Delta Dawn on top of the toilet. And she did it because she was afraid she was going to get beat up. Then she had to go home and tell her mama and her daddy that they're after her at school because now she's famous and they're not. This is a bad situation. I can feel it. Very bad. Then what did you do? My dad's jaw dropped that night when I told him about having to sing on the toilet. They made me sing, I said. You're going to have to learn to fight them, Tanya. He said, you got to learn how to use your fist. Dad did his best to turn me into a street fighter. He'd have little training sessions with me and offer bits of advice like, never agree to meet someone after school, Tanya. Always do your fighting in a very public place. I agree with that. I've never been in a fight, but if I would to be in a fight, I would choose to be where there's witnesses. That's my daddy talking. Make sure there's witnesses. If you're doing the right thing. If not, take it back into an alley. Always do your fighting in a public place. Otherwise, somebody will have a friend sneak up on you with a beer bottle. Really? A beer bottle in 8th grade? Well, you never know. Exactly. Better safe than sorry. You don't know who in a school yard could just come up with an empty Budweiser bottle and just smash it over your head like a John Wayne movie. Now, of course, it would be an automatic weapon. Well, I don't really think most schoolyard fights in this day and age end like that. Some. Probably not most. Now, of course, it'd be an automatic weapon. But I never got very interested in being physically tough back then. I just wanted to go through school and get on with my career with a minimum of trouble. Exactly. That's what this book should have been called. A minimum of trouble. The girls didn't let up. And finally, Rhonda Davis, one of the girls in my circle of pals, took it upon herself to be my bodyguard. She was a pretty wild redhead. And she'd already had her bluffing with the most of the tough girls. She stuck close to me, and as long as she was around, I didn't have to worry about much. The first day she was absent from school after taking over as my chief of security was another story. We sat in desks with 2 people in them, and without Rhonda there beside me, the tension was thick. One girl in particular, named Terry, just couldn't stand me, and the minute the teacher left my room, she made her move. In what seemed like a split second, she shot across the room and slapped me right in the face. Who does this? I went to school. I never saw anybody just slap somebody in the face. I mean, I believe her. I'm just saying, wow, this is quite a school. Maybe because Catholic schools, you just weren't allowed to walk up and slap people in the face. Because then, you know why? A nun would come up and slap you in the face. That's no fun, is it? Just a slap-a-rama. I slap you. That lady over there, Sister Barb, slaps me. And nobody slaps Sister Barb. Yeah, so she slapped me. I remember she was wearing a dress, and I thought, how weird. She's wearing a dress and wanting to fight. Seemed like if you'd be wearing jeans if you were looking for a fight. So I fought back or some, but I didn't get any good licks before the teacher came back, and we jumped back in our chairs. The next day, one of the black girls said she was going to kick my butt for not kicking Terry's butt any better than I did. Well, that girl has a point. I sidestepped that one. But I was thinking, damn, the only time I want to kick butt is when I walk on stage. I finished out that year and didn't go back to school the next. It was just too hard to go from a world where people were applauding for you and cheering for you to a world where you're probably just going to get beat up just for being what you are. Right. You're just sitting there minding your own business. Some lady comes up and slaps you in the face. Well, I too would much rather be at the Ryman with people cheering for me and saying, sing it again, sing it again. Way more fun. You can't play shows every weekend and have the energy to keep up your schoolwork, especially if every school day involves a hassle in the halls. She forgot to put, especially if every school day involves getting slapped in the face, hustle in the halls, and in the schoolyard. In retrospect, I wish I'd finished high school. I often thought about trying to get a GED like Waylon Jennings did. And Ron White, my friend Ron White, he's very proud of his GED. It would make me very proud. People are always asking me what advice I'd give to young Leanne Rimes, the 14-year-old girl who's had several country hits, and I'd say stay in school, study English, because you are in a business where words and communication are so important. Maybe contract law. That'd be a good one, because so far, been a lot of bad contracts. Study history, because you need to know where the world has been if you want to understand where it's going. A couple of business classes wouldn't hurt either, since you're going to be a business yourself. My last trip with Dolores was to Los Angeles for meetings with promoters, DJs, and label people. One night we stayed at the home of a very wealthy friend of Dolores's, an old man worth millions or so, Dolores said. I don't know why exactly, but I became so nervous around the two of them that the palms of my hands and soles of my feet started itching horribly. I locked myself in a room and got out a hairbrush and tried to use it to scratch my hands and feet to stop the itching. I sat on the bed alone, digging and digging until my hands and feet were bleeding. Oh, wow. I finally fell asleep in the early hours of the morning. All I could think about was my parents and the safety of our trailer in Hendersonville. Well, you know, they have scared a 13-year-old girl, and maybe somebody should be kind and walk in and just give her a grilled cheese. That usually calms me down. Here's a grilled cheese sandwich. Thank you. The next morning, we were to meet with some agents, and Dolores told me in no uncertain terms to be on my best behavior. My feet and hands still felt like they were on fire, and I kept my hands clenched so she wouldn't see the scabs that were forming on my palms. Oh, my God. I sat off to one side and watched her while she turned on the charm. I tried to pay attention and participate in what was being discussed, but all I could think about was the fact that my feet were burning. I get it. Finally, I couldn't stand anymore. I pulled off my shoes and started scratching at my feet like crazy. Dolores' mouth dropped open. She quickly wound up the meeting and pulled me out of there, furious. When we got back to Las Vegas, she called a conference call with Mom and Dad, telling them I was impossible on the road and they needed to get me in line. She is 13. She got nervous. I think scratching yourself to your bleed is a little excessive. Maybe there's a little more going on than just that meeting. But maybe somebody could have talked to her. All I could say in my defense, that there was something about being alone with Dolores that was making me so uncomfortable, I started to itch. That would be funny to say to somebody. I don't really understand what the problem is, but you make me itch. I look at you, I hear you, and all I want to do is scratch myself till I bleed. That's probably one of the biggest insults you could give someone. You make me itch. I don't think Dolores understood how uneasy her image creating made me. To her, it was entirely natural. Dolores had started her career running around with a cross-dressing film director and had later moved on to the glitz of Las Vegas. She couldn't possibly relate to the Tuckers, whose idea of heaven was a trailer with a picket fence and an indoor shower. Dolores wasn't the only one wanting me to grow up fast. At CBS in New York, there's an entire group of promotion and marketing people who wanted me to dress me up like a rock and roll singer in a skin-tight black leather. At the same time, Billy Sherrill in Nashville wanted me to sing country songs and grow up whenever the spirit moved me. The flashiest image Nashville came up with was an airbrush poster of me looking something like a 1940s starlet. A very innocent-looking starlet, I might add. Well, I'm never going to forget that now for the rest of my life. You make me itch. Just to say that to somebody, because it really doesn't make sense, but you know it's not good if you're going to itch till you bleed. All right, termites. It's Happy Mother's Day. Hope y'all enjoyed that. If you made it to your mother's house, maybe not. I will not. I will just be waving at Vicki Madigan from afar, calling. That's it. Think we're all going to be running loose in a while. We'll see how that pans out. And if anybody gets too close to me, I'm going to go back off. You make me itch. All right, everybody, in the words of Ron White, what do we say? Night-night, termites.